to discuss. When it come to news, ain't no better than us. When it come to news, ain't no one you can trust. We got a lot to touch, so it's time to crush. We got a lot to discuss. When it come to news, ain't no better than us. When it come to news, ain't no one you can trust. We got a lot to touch, so it's time to crush. So it's time to crush.
Peace and blessings, and welcome back to Xbox Frontline News with your boy, the King. And on this incredible Father's Day, well, this is recorded before Father's Day, but for you guys on Father's Day, I want to say happy Father's Day to all the dads. God bless, because it's a beautiful thing to be a father. It's incredible. And, you know, to be a protector, a provider is a great thing. It's something that needs to be embraced, and responsibility is heavy on the man's shoulders. So please do your very best. You're not going to be perfect, but you are appreciated, especially by me. But we're back, and we're back to talk about Xbox tax. But to hell with Xbox tax. We're here to talk about the boot on Kong's neck this whole generation. Hashtag no PlayStation 6. Now, you know, if there's bad Sony news, I'm going to find it. And when I find it, I'm going to throw it up. And when I throw it up, it's up and it's stuck. But if you want to know exactly what I'm talking about, well, you got to stick to the video. It's not going to be a long one. It's going to be a short one. Pause. But I want you to enjoy this because I didn't go live on Friday, and Fight Night Friday didn't happen this weekend because my friends, I'm on vacation. So, peace and blessings, and let's get to this. Now, this particular piece of bad news is brought to you by the Game File, and the Game File has exactly what the king needs. You see, when I send out my KNN reporters, they go out, they scour the internet, they scour the streets, they talk to everyone possible about Sony just to get the scoops. But this today is brought to you by the Game File and Steven Tatello. Sony drops PC and adds AI to official PlayStation business strategy summary. Plus, PlayStation division headcount went up for the first time since 2023. Sony had made some conspicuous edits and updates to its description of the PlayStation's business environment and strategy. In a new annual report filed to the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission today, Sony changes are part of a 379-word overview strategy for its game and network services division, which is another name for PlayStation. The chunk of about PlayStation strategy is part of a voluminous financial report filed by Sony each June. This is the wonderful part. This year's is 229 pages long. The differences to any part of the following word changes made from year to year as Sony provides a breakdown of its business for investors can be illuminated. For example, a line from 2025 about how PlayStation team aims to achieve sustainable profit business growth has been changed to 2026 version to aim to achieve sustainable business growth. Notice which word they cut. That's a pretty clear tell about how Sony expects the profit margins to squeeze this year due to raising chip costs for its hardware, among other things. A line from 2025 that stated Sony plans to continue its efforts to deploy its first-party titles to multiple platforms, such as the PC, has been cut from the 2026 version. That appears to be Sony's admission by omission that it has backed off of releasing its biggest games on PC. Bloomberg's Jason Schreier reported in March again and in May that Sony's big single-play marquee games are no longer planned for time delay release on PC. The whole new chunk has also been added about how Sony is utilizing AI to unleash the creativity of studios and further enhance the PlayStation experience. Now, what I'm going to tell you in the breakdown later is I want to see if you frauds are going to do what we do Hold the line. Now, are you going to back Sony? But we'll talk about it. I'm pretty sure you're going to make up a reason for why this is a good thing. Now, this is brought to you by CNET and Tyler Graham. Sony would pay out $7.85 million in PlayStation Store credit. How to claim part of the settlement. The allocated payment will go to your PlayStation Network wallet after the final approval. You may be eligible to claim part of the upcoming $7.85 million settlement payout if you're a PlayStation customer who lives in the U.S. This case is centered on allegations that Sony unlawfully eliminated competition and monopolized the market for its digital games by no longer selling games by specific vouchers that let PlayStation owners buy digital games from different online shops. The class action lawsuit, Kokuri versus Sony Interactive Entertainment, alleged that Sony's actions caused consumers to pay for more certain digital games than otherwise would have paid on the PlayStation Store. It alleges that this action is in violation of the antitrust laws, as it forces PlayStation consumers to buy a single storefront at an inflated price. Put simply, the lawsuit alleges that Sony limited the sale of digital games on other marketplaces, funneling customers into its own PlayStation Store. Some of those games included PlayStation exclusive titles such as The Last of Us, and as well as third-party games like Mass Effect's trilogy and Resident Evil 4. The lawsuit initially settled in 2024, but the settlement was rejected twice during the approval process. Most recently in July 2025, when the presiding judge said the proposal plan did not provide the estimated recovery or range for potential recovery in the class matters for the class members. The approval process was reinitiated in April. Sony denied that it engaged in any wrongdoing or that the settlement class members was damaged by its actions, and that the court has not decided if the company violated any laws. Despite this, the court has preliminarily approved $7.85 million settlement payment subject to the court's final approval and hearing. The settlement website is now live. The hearing is scheduled to take place October 15th and is meant to confirm the settlement sum allocated to up to 25% of the funds for attorney fees and create a plan to distribute the rest of the money to eligible class members. If you fit the criteria of the PlayStation game voucher settlement, you're automatically a class member in this lawsuit and will be able to collect a portion of the settlement money and directly to your PlayStation Network account wallet sometime after the final approval process. Gamers will be deactivated from their PlayStation Network. Gamers who have been deactivated from their PlayStation Network accounts can apply for the settlement payment by adding qualifying purchase information to the email info@psnddigitalgamesettlement.com. Gamers with deactivated accounts will receive cash payments instead of a PlayStation Network account accreditation. So I want you to go check this out. This is absolutely fun. And you know how I do. I bring the news just for you. Now, this is the big one, folks. Halo Campaign Evolved has some weird account requirements for local co-op. Now, this is brought to you by Pure Xbox and Fraser Gilbert. Now, this had an update. A lot of guys went running around with this, and they have to do a retraction. Me personally, I was told that it will have some clarity on the matter. That's why I didn't report on it until I got the absolute facts. Listen, if you love Xbox, then you love King. And if you want bad Sony news, well, come to the King. And I'm going to make sure that I keep the boot on Kong's neck this whole generation. Hashtag no PlayStation 6. But at the same time, getting the correct information is the best way to do business. And I'm doing business with you. Halo Studios has now updated their FAQ, with an explanation on the PlayStation Plus bit, which was a mistake. And they said it's not so bad after all. Halo on Twitter incorrectly stated that the PlayStation Plus is required for local co-op split screen. Local split screen co-op requires a PlayStation account for each player, does not require a PlayStation Plus account. We incorrectly stated, and this is Halo on Twitter, stated that PlayStation Plus is required for local co-op split screen play. Local split screen and co-op requires a PlayStation account for each player, but does not require a PlayStation Plus account. Now, the original story went like this. This is what everybody else was reporting before my guy, Fraser Gilbert, actually put up the real facts. Looking around the world at Xbox today, the topic seems to be trending the most in regards to Halo Campaign Evolved. Its requirements for co-op, sometimes that it was derailed by the Halo Waypoint questions and answers last night. For anyone on Xbox Series consoles, it's mostly self-explanatory. If you want to play online co-op, you just naturally need an Xbox account and some form of Game Pass subscription, and you also need 2 Xbox accounts if you play offline through co-op. So just to keep it in mind before you dive in with a friend for some split screen. If you're wondering whether you can use the guest account for player 2 instead, it's not confirmed either way here. Xbox Series consoles. If you're playing on split screen on Xbox console, the second player will also need a unique Microsoft account. If you want to play online co-op, you will need to activate Xbox Game Pass subscription. What's particularly weird is that if you're playing Halo Campaign Evolved on a PlayStation 5, both accounts will need a PlayStation Plus subscription, regardless of whether if you're playing offline or online. A lot of flack has been sent Xbox way for this, but we're assuming that it's more of a PlayStation decision than anything else. For some, or perhaps for some weird quirk with the way Xbox accounts function on the PlayStation 5. In any case, here's the official word. Now, this was before the actual retraction came out. PlayStation 5. If you're playing split screen on PlayStation 5, both accounts will need to have PlayStation Plus and link to a Microsoft account. Having these active PlayStation Plus subscriptions will also provide access to the online co-op play. The Steam version on PC will also require an Xbox account in order to gain access from the co-op play. The FAQ is well worth reading. If you want to check out more commonly asked questions about Halo Campaign Evolved, it delves deep into the topic, and you can go check that out. But that's that, and we're going to talk about it here. Now, we had some juicy topics today, and again, I don't try to go long on the weekends. I just try to give you bite-sized videos to get you through the day, to keep you moving, and to keep me in the algorithm. You see, what I've noticed is that at least 60% of you have not subbed, or you have not put a like. Well, please, listen, put a like when you come in, cost you nothing, and share it out. Sharing is caring. I think I do good work. If you think I do good work, then share it with a friend. And also, hey, get a laugh off of it. But looking at the settlement, we'll know more October about who's getting what and what's happening. I know I got some digital games, so I'm pretty much assured in for what went down. And this goes to a bigger problem with the wall garden stuff and the way Sony does business. So they have to figure out a better way to do business as far as storefronts go and offering abilities to purchase digital games from other storefronts that they're able to use on their account. I think it has more to do with a security issue with Sony, the way they want to have it walled, gardened off. I don't really believe that it's more so than that, honestly. But when it comes to the AI, if they use AI in a manner that replaces the workers, I'm telling you this is an absolute slippery slope. You see, because where PlayStation finds themselves, they find themselves in a rock and a hard place. The rock and a hard place is this. They had 12 live service games that got canceled. They had 15 in total. A lot of studio closures, a lot of cancellations of games, a lot of stuff that's up in the air, a lot of mixing and matching, CEOs left. You know, it's a lot of things going on over at PlayStation. And what we realized is that the cupboard is bare. You have Naughty Dog that hasn't produced a game for PlayStation 5, new one, and to keep them afloat. So that's one of the bigger companies that have issues. If you use AI to fast track games to help with the load, if you will, pause, then you are opening the door to Pandora's box. And I believe a lot of these companies have done that already. I believe that we're facing a weird inflection point. We have chased technology to the brink of human creativity extinction. And I'm always elated every day I get a chance to play a new indie game that was made by two people in a basement with a dream. Well, small companies. And I gotta say, like my guy Everborn Saga, he made a whole world of characters that he gave life to. And comic books, merch, everything, statues, somewhat 3D printed statues. But and a game. It's through these creativities, these essence of putting yourself into the game is what resonates with your consumer. If that is lacking, what do we have? And are you telling the world to cut corners in order to achieve results? We all know when you cut corners to achieve results, everything falls apart. I truly hope it's not as bad as we think. I truly hope Sony is not as desperate as I think. Because for the sake of developers, workers, programmers alike, with Elon saying stuff and Jeff Bezos saying stuff like, with the new AI and AGI, you won't need programmers any longer. Anyone can program. With ChatGPT uprooting a lot of good journalists, this is the next frontier in which things can go left. Now, as far as Halo goes, Microsoft Xbox needs the monthly active users. So the way the back end is on the PlayStation, I think has a lot to do with the security thing, but Xbox needs you to have like Game Pass and they need you to be locked in to have local co-op or whatever. Honestly, I don't know if it's as big of a deal as anyone is making it. I say vote with your dollar. If anything about Halo Campaign Evolve for your PlayStation doesn't fit your wants and needs, well, I'm going to tell you to don't purchase. But at the end of the day, you're your own boss. You work hard to play hard, and this is a hobby. So remember that part when it comes to this. Also, I want to say this. I've noticed there's a lot of bad news going around with Xbox. And as a consumer, there are a couple of things that you need to concern yourself with. Does my game work? Does my console work? And does the online features work? That's it. That's all. Those three things. You're not responsible or in the business of worrying about what developers are doing. And let me explain. You are a point and purchase individual. You purchase a console. There's no guarantee that that console will be here tomorrow. You purchase a game. There's no guarantee that that company will be there tomorrow. And you purchase online. There's no guarantee that the online services will work. But you do so in hopes that your purchase plans out. So I know a lot of you guys are worrying about what's going on at Xbox and is the purchase that you made safe? For those individuals with genuine concern for the brand, I say enjoy everything while it lasts. Nothing lasts forever. Nothing. I have had every console that has been made. And we're looking at only 3 console manufacturers in the world today. And I had over 130 consoles, handhelds and stuff like that. So I want you to know something. When you get caught up with content creators baiting you to a discourse about developers being relocated or let go, know that you're being baited. Know that content creators require your views in order to get paid. You see, when you say we shield for a company, we don't. We shield for ourselves. I do all I do here for you, but I get paid by YouTube just the same way as everybody else. So when a journalist puts out FUD, that's fear, uncertainty, and doubt, that's in order to drive traffic to their site. And in order to drive traffic to their site, they need compelling news. With people not utilizing certain parts of the industry in order to get their news, everybody is scrambling. So, as a consumer, everything is fine. No studios have closed. There's rumors, and we will know when they're ready to talk. But you're not a shareholder, and you're not a developer. Your concerns are misplaced. You have 3 concerns. Does my game work? Does my console work? And does my service work? But this is Xbox Frontline News with your boy, the King. Now, I want you to do what I'm about to do. What you should do is I want you to go with game is game and win is win. And I want you to try to play the Game Pass.
My thought is everything has a price. There is not a number that can get you back in that ring. 80 million, 100 million.
Nah, because now you selling your soul.
$100 million, you can have my soul.
That's you. Now we know your character. Sometimes, you look at people and you be like, dang, man, you ain't got no dignity. You ain't got no morals. Like, come on, man. Like, what you gonna stand for if everything is about money?